Hey guys, Tina here and welcome to Spring Reading Tag. Now I'm really far behind in filming my tags and yeah, I will try to amend this in the next few weeks. But this one is definitely one that sort of has a time limit because I can really not do it in summer. And if I don't do it during the spring, I will have to wait another year, and that's just unacceptable. And it's a really fun tag, and it was created by Amy Jane Smith, and I was tagged by Jessie from Jessie's Shelf, as well as Haley from Haley Reads. So I will link all the ladies' channels down below so you can go check them out. Question number 1 is, what book are you most excited to read over the next few months? The first book that sprang to mind was Oathbringer by Brandon Sanderson, and then I realized that that's not soon, that's in November. You know, until then there's lots of books that are coming out, and the one that I'm actually also very excited to get is A Court of Wings and Ruin by Sarah J. Maas that comes out at the beginning of May. And let me tell you, I'm really scared and worried that it's not going to be as good as A Court of Mist and Fury was, and I'm really keeping my fingers crossed that it is, because I really want a great ending to that series. And yeah, luckily we don't have long to wait. Question number 2 is, what book most makes you think of spring for whatever reason? Now honestly, I couldn't come up with a book, plot-wise, that would remind me of spring. I went from my Goodreads, read books and all that, and I couldn't come up with one. So I decided for a cover, and it's not a cover that really you would think that it's springy, but the colors on it I relate to spring, and it's actually this book, The Watchmaker, although why not? The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley. Now I haven't read the book yet, and I very much doubted that it has anything to do with spring, and neither does the cover per se, but I really love this fresh green, and it really reminds me of spring because that's the one thing that I really love about spring. It's all the bright, fresh green colors that are everywhere, and they sort of get darker and dimmer as summer comes, and I really miss them. But I just really love the green, that it's just everywhere suddenly, and I love spring. But yeah. So question number 3: the days are getting longer. What is the longest book you've ever read? So for this, I naturally went to Goodreads again, and it told me that the longest book I've ever read is A Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss, and I disagreed because, yes, I mean, if we're going to go with book, one book, it does have 994 pages, I think, if I remember. So yeah, it is a long book, but I have a longer book, and the only difference is that it's in 2 parts, and it's Word of Radiance by Brandon Sanderson, which is book 2 in his Stormlight archive, and the part 1 has, part 1 has how many? Over 653 pages, and part 2 has, well, wait, not that part, no, has 556 pages, so that's longer than Wise Man's Fear, what am I saying? So yeah, Brandon Sanderson rules, as always. Question number 4 is, what book would you recommend to brighten someone's day? Seriously, I love this book, and it's Salmon vs. a Homo Sapiens Agenda by Bacchiala Bertelli. Now this is a really fun contemporary romance that's dealing with Salmon, who is this really just a really lovable character, and he's being blackmailed by one of his classmates. He has been emailing with this other boy, and neither knows the other's identity, so he cannot warn him or anything, and the other boy is actually slightly reluctant to come out. Salmon doesn't have those issues because he's pretty confident that his family is going to be fine, but since he's being blackmailed, he is trying to protect that other boy. And all in all, I make it sound like it's a terrible book, but it's a really funny and enjoyable, and it's light for what it deals with, and I really love it, and I think everybody should read it because it's such a kid story and a perfect summer read if you need an excuse, and it's, yeah, I think it would brighten everyone's day, but yeah, that's my opinion. So next is question number 5. Spring brings new life. Think up a book that doesn't exist but you would wish it did. Now I cannot come up with a book just like that, and I have plenty of ideas, but none that are that well developed. There are some things that I would like to see in a book, and that is actually similar to what Halley said, a rational female character, especially a young adult. No drama queens, no irrational decisions. I mean, all teenagers are not like that. So make a good role model. That is definitely one. But I would actually say that that's for the whole cast. Make people rational. Make them communicate. You know, make them talk to each other. There doesn't have to be drama like that. Make a functional relationship. Write about that, because there are plenty of those out there. And yes, they have problems, but you know, why shouldn't they solve it in a rational manner? You know, they don't have to fight nastily or, you know, things like that. Doesn't have to be drama related to relationships. Just good communication. And you know, there's a lot of outside drama that could affect those characters, and not necessarily something that they would fight over in between themselves. So I think that's what I'm looking forward to, for somebody to write. Just a decent relationship, you know, without that unnecessary bullshit. Yeah. Question number 6. Spring is also a time for growth. How has your reading changed over the years? Now, I have been promising you my reading life history or whatever for a while, and I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon, so I can just briefly tell it here. I started really reading in elementary school, and my favorite books were Enid Blyton's Famous Five. It's adventure books about a bunch of cousins and a dog that always managed to get into some kind of trouble, and I really love those books. And after that I never stopped reading. Now already in elementary school I started reading Agatha Christie, Zane Grey. I read Victoria Holt romance, and that continued on in high school. And then I discovered English books in our bookstores, and they were a lot cheaper than Slovene ones. And I started buying those, and yeah, I was sort of obsessed with romance books, and that lasted forever, really, throughout my high school and even later on in university. I read a lot of that. So yeah, I do get bored now. You might understand why I get bored of them sometimes and don't take them seriously at all. After that, I switched to young adult, and I'm not sure how that happened. I must have come across a book that really, you know, pulled me in. And I read that, well, still do, for the longest time. And in between I read a lot of gay romance. And now I switched basically to fantasy. And I'm trying to get into sci-fi. And I'm trying to catch up with those two genres, because I feel like I've missed so much and I have to catch up, which is insane because I can't. But yeah, so now I read mostly fantasy, and I'm trying to get into sci-fi, and I used to read young adults, mostly fantasy again, some contemporary. I would like to get into more classics and literary fiction, historical and things like that, but I'm, you know, slowly getting there. I mean, that's how it is. Chapter. Question number 7 is... we're a couple of months into the new year. How's your reading going? Actually, it's going really well. I'm really doing well. My challenges, I'm ahead of Goodreads challenge. I'm doing okay with my around the world in 52 books. I can never remember that title. I'm also doing pretty well with my own personal goals. I have completed quite a few series because that's you know, my goal this year. I have a lot of series on my shelves that are completed but that I haven't read, so that's my goal, basically, to finish all those this year, and I'm doing really well. I also, you know, bought a few, so yeah, those are counted here. I'm reading more in Slovene. I'm reading more classics, although, well, I'm not gonna brag about it yet, but I did read more than last year, so even if it's one. And I'm also trying to read more non-fiction, and yeah, it's better than last year. Not really, you know, really great, but it's better than last year. So, you know, the year is still long, so I have still a lot of time to catch up. And the last question is, any plans you're looking forward to over the next few months? Well, I don't have any plans, like I have ideas of what I want to do, but that's all up to me if I go through with it, but no plans as such. I know I'm sort of planning a trip, well, a day trip with my friends to Austria, to go there to Klagenfurt. Aside from that, I want to go, during the summer, I want to visit my family in another part of Slovenia, which is like an hour away. So it's not far, but I really like it there. It's sort of really peaceful and relaxing, and I do like that. And I haven't been there for, you know, more than a weekend in a while. So yeah, that is something I'm sort of looking forward to, but it's all up in the air, you know. It depends how my dog's health is going to be and all that. So yeah, but there are definitely things that I'm looking forward to, but you know, I'm gonna let myself be surprised. So yeah. So this is it for this tag. Whatever people I decide to tag are going to be listed down in the description box, because I haven't checked yet who has done it and who hasn't. So I want to do that before I tag you. Although if I manage to tag someone that has already done it, I'm sorry. You can either wait to do it again or not, naturally. So yeah. But yes, thank you for watching this video, and see you in my next one. Bye.